Good evening, Dean, and good evening, everyone. I have here the case of Renato C. Corona. It has the important topics under constitutional law, such as impeachment, judicial review, moot, and academic cases. Essentially, the gist of this case involves Renato C. Corona's impeachment, wherein he was found guilty of Article 2 of the articles of impeachment that had been filed against him pertaining to his failure to disclose to the public his statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth. He is the first public official who was removed and perpetually disqualified from holding public office. On December 12, 2011, the House of Representatives initiated impeachment proceedings against Chief Justice Renato C. Corona through a verified impeachment complaint signed by more than one-third of all House members as required by the Constitution. The complaint charged him with culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, and graft and corruption. The following day, the complaint was transmitted to the Senate, which convened as an impeachment court. During the impeachment trial, the Senate issued subpoenas directing officers of BPI, PS Bank to produce documents relating to Corona's alleged bank accounts. Corona, in response, filed a petition for certiorari and prohibition before the Supreme Court, seeking to nullify the impeachment proceedings, restrain the Senate from enforcing the subpoenas, and prohibit the presentation of certain evidence. He also alleged that some senator judges had violated his constitutional right to due process by exhibiting bias and partiality. While the petition was pending, the Senate, sitting as an impeachment court, convicted Corona on May 29, 2012 with a constitutionally required vote, resulting in his removal from office. Next, we have here the conflict between Aquino and Corona. Now, the conflict between Benigno Aquino III and Renato C. Corona was both legal and political. It did not arise from a single event, but from a series of disagreements over the independence of the Supreme Court, Corona's appointment, and several controversial decisions involving the Aquino administration. First off, Aquino questioned Corona's appointment as Chief Justice. The conflict began even before Aquino assumed office. Former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo appointed Corona as Chief Justice on 2010, only weeks before her term ended. Aquino argued that the appointment violated the constitutional prohibition on midnight appointments. Now, what are midnight appointments? Appointments made by an outgoing president shortly before leaving office. Corona, however, maintained that the Constitution expressly exempts appointments to the judiciary from that ban, and the Supreme Court upheld the legality of his appointment in the case of De Castro versus Judicial and Bar Council. As a sign of protest, Aquino refused to be sworn into office by Corona. The second one, Aquino's anti-corruption campaign. Aquino was elected on the slogan Daang Matuwid, promising to prosecute corruption, particularly that associated with the Arroyo administration. Aquino's allies in the House of Representatives viewed Corona as an obstacle because they believed he was not independent from Arroyo. This led to the filing of the articles of impeachment against Corona in December 2011. So the charges included the betrayal of public trust, culpable violation of the Constitution, and graft and corruption. The third one, we have the impeachment trial. The Senate conducted a full impeachment trial. Although 8 articles of impeachment were originally filed, Corona was ultimately convicted only on Article 2, which concerned his failure to fully disclose his assets in his statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth, particularly certain foreign currency deposits. On May 2012, the Senate voted 20-3 to convict him for betrayal of public trust, resulting in his removal from office. Now, the issue in this case is whether the Supreme Court may exercise its power of judicial review over acts of the Senate sitting as an impeachment court and grant the reliefs sought by Corona despite the conclusions of the impeachment proceedings. The court ruled that no, the Supreme Court dismissed the petition for being moot and academic. The court ruled that Corona's conviction by the Senate and his consequent removal from office rendered the issues raised in the petition devoid of any practical legal effect. Since the impeachment proceedings had already terminated, there was no effective relief that the court could grant. However, the court emphasized that impeachment proceedings are not entirely beyond judicial review. Under the expanded power of judicial review in Article 8, Section 1 of the Constitution, the Supreme Court may review acts of any branch or instrumentality of government, including the Senate acting as an impeachment court, when there is an allegation of grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction. Nonetheless, because of the supervening event of Corona's conviction, there was no longer a justiciable controversy requiring judicial intervention. Now, the doctrine, in this case, involves impeachment proceedings are subject to judicial review under the Supreme Court's expanded certiorari jurisdiction when there is an allegation of grave abuse of discretion. Courts will dismiss cases that have become moot and academic, particularly when supervening events make it impossible for the court to grant effective relief. The Supreme Court will not decide constitutional questions where its judgment would have no practical legal consequence. In addition, this case is significant because it clarified that although impeachment is primarily a political process entrusted to Congress, it is not completely immune from judicial review. Nevertheless, the Supreme Court will refrain from deciding issues that have become moot due to subsequent events such as the final conviction and removal of the impeached official. That would be all, and thank you, Dean. Good evening.